DJDUBL.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to DJDUBLTV. This right here is another review. Today we're going to be talking through Digga D's brand new project, Made in the Pyrex. It dropped today, so we're going to be having a listen through and checking it out, reviewing it track by track. If this is the first time you've ever heard a review right here on DJDUBLTV, basically we listen through the tracks together. It's an interactive review. It's not like anything else that goes on YouTube because we do it together. You don't just sit here and watch me. What you need to do, down below, just in the description, there's a link to stream the project. You need to click that link and find your preferred platform, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Deezer, whatever you like to listen to the project on. Click that link, load it up, and then press play. Whenever you see this symbol right here come up, that means you pause this video, go and listen to the song that we're about to talk about, and then when you've listened to the song, come back to this video, press play, and you'll be able to hear me talk through the song, everything I've heard, how I feel about it, etc, etc, and breaking down those particular tracks. So the interactive part of this as well is you can drop in the comments everything you feel about this album, whether you agree with me, disagree with me, if you think I've missed out certain points, if you think that I'm right about something and you want to agree, everything you think about this album you can chuck into the comments. Every single time we do one of these, there's always some great reviews, so big ups to you guys for always getting involved and putting in your thoughts and feelings. So I think there's nothing left to do other than load up the project, jump straight into it and get listening through these tracks. So Digga D's brand new project, Made in the Pyrex, out now. It's 13 tracks, just over half an hour's worth of listening as well. So this is going to be a nice, short, punchy one, hopefully. Get ready, load up track number 1, and let's go. Track number 1 is called The Intro, and it's produced by 5 Beats. Now, 5 Beats is a very, very sick UK producer. We just dropped an interview with him on the channel as well. So once you're done watching this video, head over to the interviews playlist on the channel if you want to hear my very in-depth conversation with 5 Beats. Bit of a shameless plug there, as always, but you know how we do. So, intro, let's go.
Big fucking bells. Digga D. Made in the Pyrex, nigga.
That's quite an interesting thing. Even though the track's just over a minute long, it's like one verse. Straight away it's showing us the rap side of Digga D. I genuinely thought this was going to be more of like a all drill project, like a lot of the stuff we're used to hearing from Digga D. Obviously there's been some rap freestyles that he's put out, but I was expecting this to be fully drill. It's definitely not. It's kind of a verse that he's just dropped straight out there. Some of the lyrics he uses is from a freestyle that he did a couple years ago where he dissed Lowski. Now he's changed the words, he's just dropped Lowski's name out of it and just said chatting to my man's girl instead of chatting to Lowski's girl. He's recycled those bars for the intro for this project. It just kind of shows like this is his mentality right now. He's just going straight in, guns blaring. So track number 2 is called Blue Woo.
CGM.
Turn up from my headphones, please, a little bit.
Big Strax.
Digga D's a troublemaker, you know. He is a troublemaker. You might not be aware, but Digga D basically has to report all of his lyrics to the authorities before he puts out the songs. He's only allowed to rap about certain things. He actually has to censor quite a lot of his music. He's not allowed to say certain people's names, certain phrases. He's not allowed to talk about certain things on the tracks. So even though we're listening to the explicit version of the mixtape, a lot of it is still getting censored. There's certain names in there that are getting censored, which I know some of the names, like I'm not gonna put them out on here. Easy to find if you use your internets and do your Googles. He's a troublemaker. This one is sort of what I expected in terms of being an album filler for the project. It's a very basic, simple, straightforward drill beat. But it's funny because a lot of the stuff that he's talking on here sounds like older stuff. Like it doesn't sound like a lot of the newer things that he's got and the most recent music that he's got. This does sound like it could be a bit of an older track. It's a decent song. It's not my favourite Digga D song yet, but this song would be a good introduction to the drill side of Digga D. If nobody's ever heard of Digga D before, like if we were exposing him to like a US fan base or whatnot, this would be a good place to start. because it's a fairly basic tune, sounds like his old flows as well, but kind of lets you in on the kind of music that he makes and what he's on basically. So track number 3 is called Chingy, It's Whatever, produced by Itchy. Let's press play.
Only public keys. Where are y'all? Where's that? Where's y'all?
It's another one where it just shows off how much of a troublemaker Digga D really is. Again, there's certain things in these songs with Digga D being limited as to what he can put out. It does surprise me at how much he is actually allowed to put out and some of the stuff that he's allowed to say. This is a song that has been about, I think this dropped early last year, early in 2020. So that's a song that I'd heard before. I think I may have even played it in the clubs once or twice before lockdown happened. So at this stage, it's definitely Digga D's top 3 songs in terms of popularity, because it's one of the ones, yeah, it's definitely one of the ones I played in the clubs. So moving on to track number 4, which is the first feature of the tapes with AJ Tracey. This is one that dropped about 2 weeks ago, I think, along with a video. It's called Bringing It Back. It's produced by AOD and The Elements.
Yo, this the old flow, man's bringing it back. Pass the soda, let me turn it to crack.
There's a few things to talk about when it comes to this song. First of all, I think Digga D teaming up with AJ Tracey is a sick move. Looking off of this track, AJ definitely brings out the best in Digga D, 100%. I love the way they formatted this song as well, where it's not just like a verse then a chorus, then the next guy has a verse, then a chorus, then back to Digga D having a verse and a chorus. They've split it up. They're kind of going back to back, which is happening a lot in collaborations at the moment. And I like that because it's breaking up the monotony of just standard song structure. So I do like it like that. Might upset one or two people, but he definitely spun Digga D on his own tune. Actually, edged it. He edged it. He didn't spin him, but he edged it. I think AJ Tracey definitely shone better in this song. But nah, it wasn't a spinach. It was definitely an edge. Marginal. But yeah, like I say, I'm going to stick to saying that AJ Tracey brings out the best in Digga D. Here's the thing about Digga D, right? He talks a lot about guns, like a lot. There's a lot of gun slang in what he says. He name checks a lot of different types of guns. I don't know if that's going to work in his favour when it comes to the UK audience. With guns largely being illegal in the UK, majority of people aren't going to have experience with guns. They're not really even going to know much other than what they see in the movies and stuff. So I think a lot of his slang probably goes over a lot of his fans' heads. Okay, so he's talking, just for one example, slap that PR, I saw them crutch. A lot of people might not know that PR is slang for a certain type of gun. In the long run, it will probably work against him, all the gun talk. I definitely would like, moving forwards, Digga D to talk less about guns, but I think that probably will happen the more successful he gets and the more he steps away from that life and away from life on the roads. I think you're going to hear more party music. He already does some songs which run in the party, like I explained before. Some of his songs go really well in the club, but I think the lyrics are going to become more party centered and less just road slang completely, as he becomes more successful and he realizes that doing a more, not commercial music, but watering down the violence and talking less crud and talking more about the party lifestyle will get him more club plays and people will enjoy the music more. Using Pop Smoke as a great example of that. He was still on it in his tunes, but there's a lot of party talk there. That's the reference I'm going to use. So yeah, I'm thinking if he leans more towards a Pop Smoke style, he will be even more successful. The next track features Millions. It's called No Chorus, and it has the potential to be my favourite because Millions is currently one of my favourite artists in the UK. It's produced by Itchy, who's the same producer of Chingy, so I'm not expecting a huge amount of difference in the beat. So yeah, this one's called No Chorus featuring Millions.
Hey, yo! Hey! From town to the west side.
Oh, I like those two on a track together. That, you know what, that sounded like it was proper fun to make. Like I said before, I'm a big fan of Millions. A lot of the stuff that he touches, in my opinion, just turns to gold. Funnily enough, the song had a chorus, even though it's called No Chorus, which I didn't expect. I kind of thought it was going to be just straight bars all the way through. They broke up the verses again. They did it kind of back to back, doing like 8 bars each, which I liked. The beat, shouts to Itchy, because I actually prefer that beat to the Chingy beat. It had a little bit more going on, and I actually like that one better. I like the beat. One thing I've noticed about Digga D, when he does collaborate with other artists, he kind of soaks up their style a little bit, which I think is a good thing. If you listen back to the track with AJ Tracey, you'll hear Digga D almost replicating AJ Tracey's flows. If you hear him on this, he's kind of replicating Million's flows, but in a Digga D way, if that makes any sense to you at all. I quite like that about him, and the fact that he's able to do that, I think will work in his favour, because it means him and whoever he's featuring with, or him and whoever he's collaborating with, will never sound out of place together. Yeah, I mean, maybe him and Lowski on a track would sound out of place, but not much else I can say about this. I like the song. For me, it's not better than the AJ Tracey record, Bringing It Back. That's still my favourite. This is a close second place. The next song is track number 6. It's called Why. It's another one that I've heard. It's produced by C Beats and M1 on the beat. It's not my favourite Digga D song, if I'm honest. He's got better songs out there. So what I'm going to do is just play this and then roll straight into number 7 and play that as well. Clout is killing my people. That was an interesting one. It started and then it stopped. Funnily enough, because I let it run in from the last track, I didn't actually check how long the track was going to be. So it was only 43 seconds and then it just stopped. Produced by M1 on the beat, Ghosty and BK, I think, was on that. Clout is killing my people. He's basically just saying people are doing the things that they're doing for... he says UDN and UDL, which UDN, I think, is UK Drill News. UDL, I don't know what that actually is. He's basically pointing at everyone, all the drill artists that you see on Snapchat shouting people out and running people down and all that. He's saying they're just doing it for clout on Snapchat, which kind of tends to be true, so I don't disagree with him. Interesting little interlude. 100% expected it to be longer, but it wasn't. So, track number 8 with fellow CGM members Savo and ZK. Folknem. It's called Folknem. Folknem. Yeah, the beat for that is hard. I love the bass on that beat. Like, I've got these decent speakers in here and that rumbled. This one definitely felt like a CGM cypher. So obviously Digga D, of course, Savo and ZK, because they went back to back on this and because of the topics, no amount of cleaning that up would ever make it a radio song. But I loved the beat on that. So if there was a chorus and actually some song structure and completely different verses, but the same artists, that's a lineup I think would have worked for radio. But seeing as it's not, there's no chorus and the verses are definitely, even if they were clean, not suitable for radio. We can bin off that idea. But I love the beat on that song. They're all CGM members, so these guys, it's very clear that this isn't their first track working together. I can literally picture the scenes in the studio, like how they writ it, how they're all together writing it, maybe recording it, etc. I know the three of them have history and they all go way back. But like I say, I would like to have heard more from the three of them rather than just 3 verses back to back. I think it would have been better if they'd actually come with a proper song structure. It's a mixtape song. I don't think it's a song that's really gonna excel. If they get a video for it, it'll probably do a couple million views. But for someone like Digga D, that's small numbers now. Track number 9 is called My Brocky and it's produced by Cage.
Big and serious.
So here's the thing. I'm very conflicted about this because I loved the beat to that. Shouts to Cage. I really did like the beat. The hook as well. It's very clear that Digga D is influenced by a lot of US rap. That to me, at this point in the mixtape, is extremely clear. There's a 50 Cent song that has the same melody on the chorus, and I can't remember the name of the tune, but he uses 50 Cent's melody for the chorus there. So it's very, very clear that he's influenced highly by US rap and American rappers. And there's nothing wrong with that at all, like I am. I love US rap. The reason I'm conflicted is because I don't really like hearing UK rappers chat about guns so much. Even if they've been around them all their lives, I'm just not really a fan, because I feel like it's not relatable music for the masses. Now, Digga D's clearly not making music that he wants people to relate to. He's making music telling his story, but I'm just not a fan of UK rappers chatting too much about guns. One thing that is very evident to me though, is very clear that most of his life experiences center around prison and guns. At this point in the mixtape now, like if you'd never heard of him before and you were listening to the mixtape, it's very, very clear that that's what his environment has been. Prisons and guns. When you have that side of the argument, it's like, if that's all an artist has seen, what else are they supposed to rap about? Because they might not necessarily know much else. Which is why I said earlier, as he gets more successful, I think we're going to hear the topics shift slightly, because he's going to be experiencing more things and he'll have broader things to rap about. The other interesting thing about this though, with him being censored and the fact that he has to submit his lyrics before he releases songs, there's a lot of censorship in the songs. I don't know why he doesn't just change the lyrics, change the words. It'd be very simple for someone who can rap to change the words. If you're not allowed to say that, instead of censoring it, just change the whole line. So I don't really know why he does that. Track number 9, My Brucky, is a good example of Digga D stepping outside of the drill category and actually doing a rap record. A bit too much gun talk for me, even though the song's called My Brucky. So the next one's called Gunman Sounds. Having said all that about track number 9, Gunman Sound is the next track, and it's produced by Chris Rich, who's definitely one of the top UK producers when it comes to drill at the moment. Let's press play. Track number 10.
Yo, this one's for the gunman them, you get me? If you know, say you're
It's like he heard what I said about track number 9. He was like, alright, fuck this guy, let's go even harder. Gunman Sounds. I kind of take back what I said for track number 9 when I was saying I don't like it talking about guns too much, because I actually think that song was a vibe. I quite like that. My first thoughts were Backroad G would sound amazing on this song as well. That should have had Backroad G on there for the third verse, in my opinion. The other thing I thought was, actually, this isn't this isn't that different to Big Shaq's Fire in the Booth. Something I found quite funny through that, he talks about, I miss all the independent girls right now. I'm relating to Neo. Knowing that Digga D is even aware of a Neo song just kind of amuses me a little bit. I can just picture him sitting in his prison cell listening to R&B. The other thing he says is, bro got a bird, that bird won't fly like Blue in Rio. He's talking about someone getting a bird and going to prison. But the reference there, Blue in Rio, is a Disney character. I only know this because I actually happened to watch this film yesterday with my son. But again, the fact that Digga D is even aware of that movie and has watched it and referenced it and has put it into a song called Gunman Sounds, where he's telling you about how shotguns sound and how his Mac 10 sounds and how the Nina sounds, is quite amusing. It's confusing me a little bit. The fact that there's Disney references in amongst the gun references. Off of the title, I thought I was going to hate the song, but actually I quite like it. That's other than Bringing It Back, that's probably my second favourite song on the project. So track number 11 is called Window, and it's produced by Liz Mirror Baby. Haha, yo! I did not expect that song at all. That was definitely a spinball. Full on dancehall track, which is sick. It definitely sounds like that one was inspired by Vybz Kartel. I could fully hear Vybz Kartel on a remix for that. That would sound sick. Vybz Kartel and Styler G on a remix would sound cold. I'm not sure if that would ever happen though, but that was really unexpected. I didn't expect to hear a dancehall track on there at all. Obviously Digga D has Jamaican roots, but I never realised he was even possible of doing something like that. It's another gun tune. I'm not mad at it, man, because he's experimenting with the sound a little bit and changing up the beats, so I kind of liked it. Track number 12 is called Trust Issues. I'm joking, I trust my mum. This is the last track on the project apart from a bonus track, so I'm expecting this one to go a bit deeper, maybe talk through some kind of home truths and life stuff. That's what I hope for it anyway. What I think we definitely need at this point in the project now is completely open, honest rap, like maybe a bit of pain rap in there, Digga D opening up, and we need an insight into the personality behind Digga D. It could just be another gun tune, I don't know. That was about halfway between the music that we expect from Digga D and what I wanted to hear from Digga D for that very last track. Definitely feel like it was more insightful and a bit more of like an introspective look at himself, and he's given out a little bit more personal stuff. It was definitely still towards more the road side of things rather than the actual like pain rap, I'm gonna call it, like, you know, the real deep open rap that I really wanted to hear. But he does let some things out in that song as well. I'm not disappointed with it at all. I think it's a good song, but I think I did want to hear some more. I wanted to hear more about like the feelings and the personality behind Digga D. Interesting again that there's so much censorship on his stuff, like even in the chorus, talking about 11 and 10, which are his area postcodes from West London, and he's not allowed to mention them in tracks. Knowing that he's not allowed to put them in there, I don't know why he would make them part of the chorus, if it just needs to be taken out entirely. But I guess it is what it is. He's clearly just making the music that he wants to make and then submitting it, and it's getting censored. However, I'm guessing that's how it works. So we're on to the last one of the project, produced by Trins. This one's called Toxic.
Huh? Trins.
That was cold. Now, I remember now actually, this one had, there was a clip on Instagram that came out about this track, which actually got banned from Instagram. Definitely helped with the promo of the song. It's come out as a bonus track on the project, so it's right at the end. What I think they should have done though, what I think Digga D should have done with this is put it earlier in the tape. Would have been good to hear it as track number 6 or 7 maybe, have it a bit earlier. Just because it breaks up the topics a little bit. This one's purely about him being toxic and being in a toxic relationship and not all the gun talk and weapon talk. So I think this would have broken up the mixtape nicely had it been earlier in the mixtape. It came right at the end. That was their choice. It's not mine. Doesn't matter. I'm glad it's on there. And I think bringing it back, then Toxic, then No Chorus with Millions. They're my top 3 from this project, I think. Unfortunately, I don't think this is going to be in my top list of projects for the year. In terms of listenability, I'm not sure I would listen to it much again. There's a couple of tunes that I would take from it, and definitely a couple of songs in it that I will be playing in the clubs when the clubs are open. But in terms of actually revisiting as a whole project, I'm not sure I will. I'm 100% certain that I'm not the target audience for this project. What I would like to hear from Digga D in the future is exactly what I've said earlier in the review. I want to hear from him as he gets more successful and moves away from the cruddy life. I want to hear more kind of party records. I think he's carved himself out in a lane where he can do drill and people were believing that he's on all the drillings that he's talking about. But at the same time, a lot of his music's very successful on apps like TikTok. So his music has that crossover ability, and I think he definitely has the ability to cross over with it. So making more, not commercialized records, but watering down the violence, as I've said, and coming with a more Pop Smoke approach to his music, I think will see him become way more successful than he already is. He's successful at the moment, he makes music that people listen to, but it's more to do with going viral every time he gets arrested and the fact that people on TikTok are doing certain things with his music. So I think if he aims more towards that audience, the more club-based and dance-based audience, I'm not talking about him turning into a TikTok rapper, but if he aims somewhere in between where he is now and that audience, I think that's probably going to be the sweet spot for him, and that's where he's going to find the most success. That's what I'd like to hear. I'd like to hear him continue doing drill just with different topics, basically, because I do like him as an artist, but like I say, it's just for a whole project of drill to be just about guns all the way through is a bit too much for me. It's just my opinion, of course. There's a lot of other people that love this stuff. So there, Digga D, made in the Pyrex. That was pretty much everything I expected it to be. I didn't expect like a really groundbreaking project from Digga D. He's still in the early stages of his career. I do know the environment he's in definitely contributes to the topics that he has. Like I say, I think switching up the topics a little bit is what I'd love to hear from him for the third mixtape. But this is a good second mixtape. He's going to continue to get more and more popular, I think, in the UK rap scene. The controversy of him being in so many beefs with so many different artists definitely adds to his popularity. The fact that he's aligned himself with Unknown T from East London, who, if you're an international listener, you don't know who Unknown T is, he's another one of the biggest UK rising rappers at the moment. He's established as a very popular artist, but he is far from where he is getting to. Like, Unknown T is soaring. So Digga D's aligned himself with him. I think they have a project on the way as well, which would be good to hear. So rounding off, yeah, I think it's a decent project and I think it's going to do okay for the week, but I don't know how many plays it's going to keep getting. I think Digga D will probably drop a couple more videos to bring people back to the tape. But what I would love to hear is a more diverse mixtape for the next drop from Digga D. That's this week's review done. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, of course, drop in the comments everything that you feel about this project. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, how you feel about it, what your favourite track is, who your favourite producer is, anything that you think I've missed, anything that you think Digga D's missed from the project, everything that you have to say about this project, chuck it straight in the comments. Let's open up the conversation and let's really talk about it right now. Thank you very much for watching. More reviews on the way, of course, more interviews on the way. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. This right here is DJDUBLTV. My name is DJDUBL. Thank you for watching. Peace.